Seems like everybody nowadays is looking for a reason to criticize Russia. Well, we have a real reason here, as opposed to many of the ridiculous ones. So this is from The Independent. A ban on Jehovah's Witnesses is to come into full force in Russia after a court dismissed an appeal against the group's classification as an extremist organization. The British and American governments were among those raising human rights concerns over the prohibition, which will liquidate the group's administrative center near St. Petersburg and 395 local religious organizations. Russia's Supreme Court upheld the ruling on Monday, having previously decided in favor of the Justice Ministry's characterization of the Jehovah's Witnesses as an extremist organization whose members pose a threat to the rights of the citizens, public order, and public security. Judges ordered the closure of the group's Russian headquarters, local chapters, and the seizure of its property by the state. So, yeah, think about how ridiculous that is. That they're just like, yeah, we don't like you. We're banning you. What the fuck is that? We're going to ban you because we don't agree. We don't like you. Now, do I agree with Jehovah's Witnesses? Of course not. Of course not. They're silly. I think all religions are silly. So, no, I'm not defending them on the content of the shit they talk about. But what I am defending them on is their right to exist. Like, you can exist and you can believe whatever you want to believe and you can espouse whatever you want to espouse. And there's, in a free functioning society, that shouldn't be a problem. But therein lies the problem, is that Russia's not a free functioning society. They go, yeah, we're just going to ban them. You're extremist. The fuck? What is this? So what does that mean? You're extremist. You believe things that we don't believe. Okay, and is that extremist? Because if your definition of extremist is, well, they're breeding violence, well, fucking Jehovah's Witnesses, that's not true. That's not true. And even if there were Jehovah's Witnesses doing violence, it would make up an infinitesimally small percentage of the population, so they wouldn't be extremists. And then that hilarious line, they say, they rule Jehovah's Witnesses are an extremist organization whose members pose a threat to the rights of the citizens, public order, and public security. No, the only threat to the rights of citizens is what you, the government, is doing against the Jehovah's Witnesses. As you're taking away their rights to freely believe whatever they want and exercise whatever religious beliefs they want, as long as they're not hurting anybody. As you take away their rights, you're like, oh my God, they're taking away people's rights. The fuck are you talking about? Now, again, I think Jehovah's Witnesses are silly, but they have a right to exist. They have a right to try to spread their message. It ain't going to get far because it's so silly. And also, by the way, the UK government is a little bit hypocritical in this respect because they did this with Scientologists. They said, no, we're not going to allow this church Scientology into our country. Now, again, they're ridiculous and maybe even on another level because they're even more of a cult than other religions that have kind of chilled out. Scientology is pretty new and they still act very cultish. But still, the idea you say, I'm not going to let you into my country, you're going to be banned from my country. Shut the fuck up. Like, what is that? What is that? And then nobody would think for a second, well, this is bigotry against Jehovah's Witnesses. But it is. That's what it is. Like if they had said, we're going to ban all Muslims, we would say, that's fucking bigoted. That's bigoted as fuck. What are you doing? That's crazy. You're going to ban all Muslims. We're going to ban all Christians. That's crazy. We're going to ban all Jehovah's Witnesses. That's normal. No, it's not. That's fucking backwards as fuck. And again, this is coming from somebody. I'm an atheist. Everybody knows that. I'm an anti-theist. I don't believe in religion. I don't practice religion. I think it's largely harmful. I get how in some instances with some people it could be a positive thing, but mostly harmful. But you got to defend him in this case because that's just crazy. Well, we don't like you, so therefore you're extremist. Therefore you're taking away the rights of other people as we take away your rights. And we're going to just ban you from the country. Like, who can make that decision and think, I'm nailing it? No, you're making a decision that is, like, quite literally the opposite of freedom. You're saying, I'm going to restrict freedom, and oh boy, doesn't that make me great? Doesn't that make us a lovely country? No, it makes you rather shitty. So, on this one, you want to talk about legit reasons to criticize Russia? Here you go. There's many of them. Let me be clear. There's many of them. A lot of the hysteria, though, around, Trump is Putin's bitch. I don't think that's anywhere near correct. But this is a real reason to criticize them because this is inexcusable and quite pathetic.